and welcome to beautiful Crystal Cove State Park, one of 279 California state parks. My name is Ranger Winter, and today I'm so excited to share with you some information about one of my favorite animals in the whole wide world. So now Crystal Cove has two parts to the park. We have a backcountry wilderness area, and we also have a coastal side. And because of that, we have the chance to see this favorite animal of mine. It is the California state marine mammal. It's not a sea lion, and it's not a dolphin. Instead, the California state marine mammal is, let's see if I can show you here. It is the gray whale. Now, why is it that we're able to see the gray whale? Well, gray whales make one of the longest migration of any animal that we know. They spend their summers way up here in Alaska, in the Bering and Chukchi Seas, eating and eating and eating, feeding and feeding and feeding, trying to gain enough weight for them to be able to migrate south. So they go all the way past Alaska and Canada, down past the Washington and Oregon coastline, along California, and down to southern Baja, where they mate and have their babies. They spend a few months down in Baja lagoons, and then they begin that same migration all the way back up to Alaska. If they go one direction 6,000 miles and another direction 6,000 miles, well, you do the math. 6,000 plus 6,000 equals 12,000 miles, one of the longest migrations in the mammal world. Now, once again, why is it that we get to see them right here at Crystal Cove State Park? It's because they're coastal whales and they swim fairly close to the shore, and because of their size. They're big, big animals. In fact, let me show you some of their bones here. Oh, okay. A gray whale can get up to 50 feet. I'm gonna do my, what are these called? Chin-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, whatever they are, using the rib, just one rib from one side of the gray whale. They also have this. Anybody know what part of the body this is? Touch your backbone. This is one vertebrae, just one of those little knobs that you feel on your back. One vertebrae of the gray whale. So their size, just their sheer size, is one of the reasons that we see them. They get up to 50 feet and they weigh 70,000 pounds. Now, another reason why we see the gray whales is because, oh, here, first, let me show you the gray whale. There we go. That's our beautiful gray whale, our 50-footer. And because they're mammals, they need to come to the surface to breathe air. Everybody put your finger on your nose and then push your nostrils up to the top of your head. If you were a gray whale, you would have instead nostrils, but your nostrils are up here and they're called anybody know? That's right, they're called blowholes. And there are two different types of whales. There are the odontoceti, or toothed whales like orcas or sperm whales, and then there are the mysticeti whales like the gray whale and the blue whales. These whales have two blowholes, and they also have, hanging from their mouths, instead of teeth, they have what's called baleen. So here's a little bit of baleen. Yep, this did used to hang from the mouth of a gray whale. If you click your fingernails, you'll see that our fingernails are made from the same material, keratin, as the baleen in a gray whale's mouth. On one side, it looks like plates, and on the other side, it looks like a brush or a broom. So instead of chewing their food, gray whales are what we call filter feeders. So when they're up in Alaska eating, they'll dive to the bottom of the ocean and they'll scoop up mounds of dirt or mud, sediment, and the tiny little food they eat, which are called amphipods. In fact, I have a little jar here of amphipods. They'll then come to the surface, they'll close their mouths, retract their throats, and those tiny little amphipods go into their bellies and they eat. Well, they do that over and over again. In fact, here is a 1-pound box of amphipods. Take a guess about how many pounds of amphipods a gray whale eats each day. What do you think? Any idea? Well, a gray whale needs to eat about 2,000 pounds of amphipods each day. Do you think you could eat 2,000 boxes of chocolate chip cookies? And the reason they need to eat so much is, as I already said, they weigh about 70,000 pounds, but it's also because once they start their migration, they don't eat again. Now, they're what we would call opportunistic. So if there was some food somewhere along their journey, they might eat. But for the most part, a gray whale does not eat. It's 6,000 miles all the way down to Baja, and it doesn't eat again until it comes back. So how is it that the whale can swim all the way down there? Well, without eating and also without getting cold. We have, well, some of us have a little bit more than others, a little bit of fat here, but a gray whale has about a 6-inch layer of what we call blubber. So that keeps the whale warm. They don't ever come out of the water, and so they need to be able to stay warm. And that's how they're able to do it, with their blubber. So once the gray whale gets down to Mexico, if it's a female and she's pregnant, she gives birth. The babies are born, they're about 15 feet at birth, and they weigh about 1,500 pounds. But they need to gain enough weight so that they can migrate all the way back up to Alaska. So how do they do that? Well, once again, these animals are mammals, and so a gray whale baby will nurse on its mother's fat, rich, thick milk until it gains another 1,500 to 2,000 pounds so that it can survive the long migration back. So here is a 1-gallon container of milk. How many gallons of milk do you think a baby gray whale needs to drink each day? Did you say 50? You're right. A baby gray whale drinks 50 gallons of milk each day to put on enough blubber so that it can swim all the way back up to Alaska without getting cold. One last reason that we can see them is because, again, as mammals, they need to breathe, and gray whales have a very predictable breathing pattern. Every time they come to the surface, they blow. Everybody put your hands like this and help me blow in the shape of a heart. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And then the gray whale goes down for a deep dive and swims along the ocean bottom for about 15 minutes. And then chances are we're not going to see it again, but it's continuing its journey all the way down to Mexico or all the way back up to Alaska. I hope you'll come out here to Crystal Cove State Park sometime between, as I say, Christmas and spring break. Just stand up on a cliff, or again, even on the sand, and look out there, and hopefully you'll be able to see my favorite animal, or one of my favorite animals, the beautiful California gray whale.